what best people to talk about burnout than residencies? We care about human beings. We care about eating, care about sleeping. We care about our mental health. We care about being able to take vacations or time for health appointments. So being a now doctor with disabilities, this is huge. And this is something I looked for. And I'm so thankful that I was able to find a program that truly values me as a person, a human. Whether or not I have disabilities, I can work with my team. So week 2, we then transition to the VA. And that's a special thing. We are connected to active military bases and specifically people who are training. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to see kids because that is definitely one of the fellowships that I'm interested in, that's child and adolescent. I was very surprised how much child and adolescent I'll get because going back, the recruits are young. They're still under 25. Their brains are still developing. So we'll have that opportunity to work with different ages of recruits. We have an outpatient center for the children of active duty. I actually met some of the child and adolescent attendings, which I'm super excited to interact with and do research with. Some of them are doing research with acupuncture and vets and different types of integrative psychotherapies and like talking about nutrition, all these different types of holistic therapy, which will be phenomenal for my psychiatry education. Hello, everyone. I am about to finish my 2nd week of residency. Can you believe it? I thought this was a perfect opportunity to follow up and share a little bit about what we've been doing, how I've been feeling during this orientation, thoughts on meeting my new residents. I'll talk about how I've been able to connect with my husband who's finishing his intern year, about to become a PGY2 in neurology, and some things I've been thinking about of how to really make the most of 3 to 4 years of residency. I'm in psychiatry residency, so I have option of doing fellowship, even starting fellowship early during my 4th year, being able to start figuring out what do I want to do as a future psychiatrist, what types of patients I want to see, things like that. So starting off our normal schedule, Thursdays, we always have a full day of didactics virtually. And that's amazing because I live over an hour away from my residency. So instead of driving or commuting via train to my residency, I get to stay home, walk my dogs, eat a good healthy breakfast, see my husband maybe a little bit longer, and do virtual didactics at home. So today we don't have virtual didactics. They gave us opportunity to really relax and absorb everything that we've been learning over the past 2 weeks. And we have some online trainings that we need to do for the VA in order to get our official government ID and Cerner, which is nice. I know Cerner because I worked at Cook County during medical school. So thankfully, I already know that EMR system. Okay, what have we been doing over 2 weeks? Last week, we were at Rosalind Franklin. So we were at the university, which doesn't have hospital connected. That was very different than my own medical school, which had a hospital connected. But it's really okay because the VA is 5 minutes away. It's walking distance. They have a bus van that can pick you up from the university if for some reason you wanted to park there or eat. They also have from the Metro train station, because sometimes I'll be taking the Metro. I haven't yet decided when I'll determine if I'll do the Metro versus we'll drive in. Okay, so start off, we did orientation with the other residency groups, which is just really the internal medicine team. There's 2 internal medicine teams, one at the VA and one at this other hospital. So we got to learn about how to work together as an interprofessional team, learn how to collaborate also with medical students and I believe PA students, how to best teach them. So you can see my blog post on that if you're a new resident, or even if you're an attending and want to improve how we can really make the best situation for medical students. It's called Residents as Teachers. And from my own experience on how it is helpful to have a resident and doctor attending that truly cares about you, is providing valuable feedback and not just negatively commenting on your appearances or things that you cannot change, things that will make you a better doctor, because that's why we go to medical school. So check out that blog post. I'll also link it below. You also learned about wellness, which talking about that the first week or first days in residency, we're talking about wellness. That is huge and shows again why I chose the right residency, why I chose the really the best specialty. Sorry, my dog is pulling. Dogs, one particularly that likes to pull. That one. Let's see, what am I saying? I was talking about wellness. Oh my God, yes. What's best people to talk about burnout than residencies and resident program, which we care about human beings. We care about eating, care about sleeping. We care about our mental health. We care about being able to take vacations or time for health appointments. So being a now doctor with disabilities, this is huge. And this is something I looked for. And I'm so thankful that I was able to find a program that truly values me as a person, a human. Whether or not I have disabilities, I can work with my team. Let's talk about week 2. So week 2, we then transition to the VA. And that's a special thing where we are connected to active military bases and specifically people who are training. Sorry, it's sunny, so I'm going to put on my sunglasses. What are we talking about? This is my husky doing the husky role. She's a husky. He's trying to remove his leash. Anyway, we were talking about, sorry, my brain's still, I guess, waking up from having 2 weeks of residency orientation. Oh, active military bases and where there's new recruits, specifically the Navy. We were told that this is really one of the only residencies that has this opportunity that has 3 different things. We take care of veterans, so people who've previously been in the military, people who are active duty, and I guess family. I say military, there's the Navy, there's the Coast Guard, and then new recruits. So that is amazing because it allows us to see different types of ideologies, different types of patients that are usually, you don't have that opportunity. So I'm very excited. So first day, we got to meet all the amazing professional teams that really support it's called the Federal Healthcare Center. And that includes psychologists, PT, OT, obviously different doctors, different departments, all the different types of people we were able to learn from and be able to refer to. We even received a booklet, all the different resources that are free and available to the veterans and people in the military, which is amazing because I'm used to working with people in lower income, which I love working with marginalized identity. But as a resident, I think the challenge with that is that we can sometimes spend more time kind of being social workers and case managers trying to figure out how to connect them with resources. We can't give this medicine because the patient can't afford it, or we can't do this types of therapy because the patient can't afford it. That's not the case in this type of residency and this type of patient population because the military pays for all that. So that was a really cool benefit that I can really focus on providing the best science-based and research-based treatments, not just pharmaceuticals, but we have varying types of therapies. We have group therapies for inpatient and outpatient that I'm super excited to interact with. So many resources, acupuncture, massage, somatics, movement, like a lot of things that I love and can't wait to learn more. In addition to the inpatient psych unit, people can come in with substance use, and so treatment center, PTSD treatment center. That is some amazing things about working in this environment. There is a mouse. I was not expecting that. A little baby mouse. I'm so glad my husky didn't attack it. My husky loves eating mice. So I'm glad they didn't. They just smelt it. Then we had the really cool opportunity, and I don't know how much I'm legally by the military, so I want to say that all of this is not representative of the military, not representative of the U.S. government. This is my own personal experience, and I'm not going to be disclosing any military secrets. Granted, I didn't learn it. But still, I'll really try to be just broad. We went to the active base where they have recruits, Navy recruits. They do a 10-week boot camp, which is very unique and interesting. They learn a lot of different skills, how to live on a boat, how to pretty much be firemen on the boat, how to support if there's a mass casualty on the boat. We learned about their fitness. It was really funny. They do the similar fit test that if you were in public school in the U.S., you did that. They're like, ding, ding. A little bit of flashbacks for some of the residents who we went to public school and we're like, oh, did that. The Navy uses the same thing where they run back and forth. So they work on cardio. They work on learning how to swim. It was interesting. I never really thought about people not being able to swim. And that's really a privilege for me that I had the opportunity to learn how to swim. But there are a lot of these recruits who are lower income or don't live in an area where they have other lives. So they learn how to swim, they learn how to dive safely. There's like lifeguarding classes for, I think it was like the upper, like after they go through boot camp, if they want to do that. For individuals who hurt themselves, they actually do a really good job of, like from the medical perspective, if they get shin splints, they have this really cool anti-gravity machine where it lifts their body up so they can keep running, working out their cardiovascular health while not putting weight on their shin. And then slowly it drops, rides them. So they're running at equal force to their own body. And once they're able to do, I think like 90%, they can go back to running. It was really cool that they had other forms of cardiovascular. If for some reason the person can't run for any reason, they had bicycles, they had rowing machines. And they had like good PTOT. So if you ever get injured while they're doing boot camps, like physically, they can come to us and the FHC if it's like really bad, like broken bone or something or dislocated shoulder. So I might see them in the ED when I do my ER rotation. There's like a location where they can do long-term rehab until they can go back to boot camp. So that's for the physical health. Mental health is long, so I'll get to that later. We can skip ahead if that's what you're really interested in. Of course, that's what I'll be doing. That was obviously interesting to me. They can go to get mental health or physical health support whenever they want in a medical center, not just like directly where we are in the emergency room, but like they have their own like center that they can come and get support. They do simulations. It reminded me of being in medical school. Usually they called them dummies, but they're simulated patients or people. If there's an injury or if there's flooding or fires or bombing or whatever things that could possibly happen, they learn to work as a team, which I thought was really cool. And it was really fun. Our residency intern group were like, oh my God, this is very similar to, what's it called? Escape rooms, that's what they're called. That's part of their training is learning how to do this kind of escape rooms on a Navy ship. So it definitely got us excited. Oh, that would be a really great team environment. I thought it was really interesting that we have a really diverse group of intern residents, specifically from across the country or even different not genders, because I'm the only female, but different religions. Some of my co-residents have religions where they can't drink alcohol, which actually is exciting because we can really do other types of activities that are not just focused on alcohol. So some ideas we're thinking, like maybe doing some like art and wine classes, but like arts and tea or art and bobas, and then hang them around the call room. We were talking about the Navy. We got to talk to some of the cadets, why they joined, their experience with loneliness in the sense of like they miss their family. These are young kids. You can join the Navy as young as 17 years old. And so a lot of them had just graduated high school and had joined. So a lot of fun. But it was really cool because we got to learn how we'll be able to diagnose and talk with these cadets to figure out how they're doing, how to mentally support them. Because there are different mental illnesses that they can and cannot have in the military. We don't screen them, but the Navy screens them. But if something comes up, that's when they come to us. At the beginning of this week, I told my husband that I was worried that I wouldn't be able to see kids because That is definitely one of the fellowships that I'm interested in. I don't know 100% if I'm going to do it, but that's child and adolescent. I was very surprised how much child and adolescent I'll get, because going back, the recruits are young. They're still under 25. Their brains are still developing. So I'll have that opportunity to work with different ages of recruits. We have an outpatient center for the children of active duty, which is really cool. So we'll be able to take care of them. Maybe if they come to the emergency room, or don't take them into the psych ward, the children, because technically we don't have a child and adolescent inpatient unit. But the cadets, I guess we consider them because they're in the military. I actually met some of the child and adolescent attendings, which I'm super excited to interact with and do research with. Some of them are doing research with acupuncture and vets and different types of integrative psychotherapies, integrative, like talking about nutrition, all these different types of holistic type therapy, which will be phenomenal for my psychiatry education. A bit about different responsibilities. We're very surprised that they do restraints. We have a lot of education on how to de-escalate situations. Nursing have a lot of trainings. This institution actually had one of the lowest amount of restraints, amount of number and time that research is published. And if for some reason we have to actually restrain, it was interesting because we have to be present as MDs to be able to confirm and write in the note. They can only be restrained for 4 hours at a time. Their 4th point, it restraints is really to make sure that they're safe to themselves and the staff. And once they are deemed safe, they cannot in 4-point restraint anymore. They don't do partial restraint, 1, 2, 3, like that doesn't exist. It's 4 or nothing, which I thought was really interesting and really cool, that they really value the individuals as human. They recognize that it's safer to have them unrestrained, but if they really are temporarily a harm to themselves or others, live safe. We learned suicide. So I'll be definitely updating my suicide ideation blog post. I'm probably making a second one. It's such a big issue and we don't talk about it enough, especially with how much suicide is present in residents. I do have a blog post that I'll link below where I talk about suicide ideation and how to support your co-residents, how to support yourself, normalizing it, but also making sure that we're safe. And psychiatry residents, that's going to be my bread and butter. What a pretty view in the back. Especially when I'm on call, I'll be staying the night, coming in that active duty and recruits if they have suicide ideation or suicide risk. We'll have to evaluate their safety and whether we need to send them home with precaution or put them on case chains. I'll update that because we learned some really key and really important facts about how to screen, how to support individuals. One of the big things I learned that if someone actually has concern of suicide ideation, they have within 90 days the greatest risk for them actually completing. So that's why it's super important. I'll learn how to do a safety plan, how to keep in check with them, and protective factors. So I'll be updating my blog post on risk factors and protective factors. On Monday, I start with substance use. I'll be there for a full month, and I'm super excited because I'll be outpatient program, going in with the groups, really learning how to support individuals. I'm sure I'll be able to use my Suboxone training, but that's really exciting. I don't have off my hand my other list, but some other things I'll be doing is multiple months in the inpatient psych units, which we have 2 floors. I'll be outpatient neurology, inpatient internal medicine for a month. Say we have to do some sort of ambulatory, so I think I have infectious disease for a month. And then a whole new thing that I learned about Step 3. We'll be receiving New World, Step 3. So I'll start going back to my New World. If you're in Step 1 land or Step 2, if you want some resources, what I learned from my Step 1 failure and how to really improve, check out that blog post or obviously that video. I also learned about the PRITE exam, the psychiatry, and how it's really to show how we are progressing throughout all our years to see if we're learning. I partnered with Know Your Psych and Neuro so I can really improve my psych knowledge and neuro knowledge. I can also get a 20% off if you're interested for rotation, psych and neuro rotation, or if you're a psychiatry resident. That is it for today, but I'm super excited to start on July 1st. And let me know, what are you interested in? What do you really want to know throughout my psychiatry, especially my intern year? Do you want to know how I connect with my husband? Do you want to know how I commute? Do you want to know what types of patients? And of course, HIPAA compliance, but also narrative medicine, the humanity in people, that humanity in providers, humanity in patients. Let me know. I already recorded a lot of physicians and residents, so I'll be publishing them. Right now, we have 2 editors plus myself. So a great thing to support. So we'll be having those throughout the year. I'll be sharing those. So stay tuned. Make sure you've subscribed so you see all those episodes as I publish them. And sporadically, I'll put in my own videos on clinical rotation, residency prep for interviews, how to talk about failures, how to talk about leaves of absences. Thank you so much for listening in. I always love to finish saying you're not alone. Whatever your struggle is, keep going. I believe in you. And follow me at Side Moss on all social media. And of course, you can get all my resources for medical school, residency applications, and navigating life or graduate school with a disability. Good morning. I had to do a quick update because it's been a couple days into residency, and I wanted to update just how amazing it's been to hear stories of individuals who have substance use disorders, alcohol use disorders. I wanted to say that I love this rehab program because it really humanizes them. And that's what I'm all about. If you see my other videos, that's what I'm passionate about, is humanizing not just doctors in medicine, but people in medicine. I think the commonality of the emotional statements that all of them related to was just feeling of being alone, motivated, they're being not good enough, and feeling like a failure every single time they are not able to getting a job or working or not able to pay their rent or house. Disappointment was common. Fear that they are disappointing their family, the people that they loved. It was really meaningful to see people from that way. And I had the opportunity to collaborate and work with the social workers and the psychologists to see what are the ways of support, what worksheets are given work. But one of the things they do early on is have them write their autobiography. It was just so beautiful to hear their story of how they grew up, out of pain, a lot of trauma, and then what led them to their first drink or their first substance, their first cigarette. And a lot of them were so young. Some of them were teenagers. I learned that it's a 5-week program where they work with social work, psychiatrists. So that's me. I did an admission where I got to interview a patient just an hour and a half. Like, how amazing that I got to spend an hour and a half to do an admission and really just speak with them until we wanted to break. And then I spent 2 hours on my notes. That was amazing to really be able to get to know the person and give them my all and give them my respect and listen to them. And that's all that we want, is for someone to listen to them. Good morning. I had to do a quick update because it's been a couple days into residency, and I wanted to update just how amazing it's been to hear stories of individuals who have substance use disorders, alcohol use disorders. I wanted to say that I love this rehab program because it really humanizes them. And that's what I'm all about. If you see my other videos, that's what I'm passionate about, is humanizing not just doctors in medicine, but people in medicine. I think the commonality of the emotional statements that all of them related to was just feeling of being alone, motivated, they're being not good enough and feeling like a failure every single time they are not able to getting a job or working or not able to pay their rent or house. Disappointment was common. Fear that they are disappointing their family, the people that they love. It was really meaningful to see people from that way. And I had the opportunity to collaborate and work with the social workers and the psychologists to see what are the ways of support, what worksheets are given work. But one of the things they do early on is have them write their autobiography. It was just so beautiful to hear their story of how they grew up, out of pain, a lot of trauma, and then what led them to their first drink or their first substance, their first cigarette. And a lot of them were so young. Some of them were teenagers. I went, that is a 5-week program where they work with social work, psychiatrists. So that's me. I did an admission where I got to interview a patient just an hour and a half. Like, how amazing that I got to spend an hour and a half to do an admission and really just speak with them until we wanted to break. And then I spent 2 hours on my notes. That was amazing to really be able to get to know the person and give them my all and give them my respect and listen to them. And that's all that we want, is for someone to listen to them. So as I've been having the past 3 days in my first year of intern year, Jonah, my husband, has spent the past 3 days on night shift as a new PGY2 intern. Here he comes. Hi, boy. Hi, Winnie. Hi, Focus. Who's our PGY2?